wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic Podcast. This is Steve coming to you from Conway, Arkansas. This is a podcast about the application of ancient philosophy to modern life, and I'm very happy to join you. I'm brought to you by the donations of the patrons who keep the lights on, and thank you to Christopher, who recently joined as a patron on the show. If you'd like to join the show as a patron and support it, you can find out how at the end of this episode. This week we're going to hear from Marcus Aurelius, who's going to talk about some of his practices, and these are practices that we should consider implementing. It's going to involve thinking about the past, thinking about the future, thinking about the present, and our place in it. I believe that practicing this on a daily basis, and maybe adding a bit of a Buddhist practice in with it to help figure out a way to actually do this on a daily basis. We can borrow practices from Buddhism that kind of mesh with Stoicism here to more thoroughly increase our sense of justice, to increase our self-control, and perhaps even increase our happiness as we do this daily practice. So we're going to hear from Marcus, and we'll talk a bit about how to adapt what he says to the modern era, something we can do daily to increase our sense of well-being and to become better Stoics. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 7, number 47, 48, and 49.
Watch and see the courses of the stars, as if you ran with them, and continually dwell in mind upon the changes of the elements into one another, for these imaginations wash away the foulness of life on the ground. Moreover, when discoursing about mankind, look upon earthly things below, as if from some place high above them. Herds, armies, farms, weddings, divorces, births, deaths, noise of law courts, lonely places, foreign nations, festivals, mournings, marketplaces, a mixture of everything, and an order composed of contraries. Behold the past, the many changes of dynasties, the future too, you are able to foresee it, for it will be of like fashion, and it is impossible for the future to escape from the rhythms of the present. Therefore, to study the life of man for 40 years is no different from studying it for 100 centuries, for what more will you see?
Stoicism is not just a mental game. It's not something you can just read about and then be or do. It takes practice, and I often fall into the trap of being what Epictetus would chastise his students for, as being like an intellectual Stoic, but not a good practitioner of Stoicism. You can quote the Stoics, but can you live the Stoic lifestyle? And I have recently been trying to practice a form of Metta meditation. It's a Buddhist meditation on well-being, and I'm not going to claim to know much about Buddhism. I've modified it heavily for myself, but I'm going to talk to you about how I've adapted it to Stoicism using kind of this idea from Marcus Aurelius. And I think it's a useful practice, one that can have impacts in your life on a daily basis. So let's look at what he says here before we do that. He's saying that you should watch the stars, think about how they work, the amazing expanses of the universe, how things flow into one another, and that will help to free your mind from the daily grind of daily life. And at the same time, to view the world from above, to remove yourself from the hustle and bustle of your daily problems, from the problems that get right in front of your face and act as blinders to the beauty of the world, to how small our problems often really are, and to see the world as a whole, so we can zoom out and see it all at once and see how we're a part of it and how we're such a small part of it. And at the same time, he says that a person that's 40 years old has seen pretty much all there is to see. Things just repeat. The same human dramas repeat. Just read Shakespeare. It's the same stuff over and over again. Back then, the same things that apply to today, right? He says, what's the difference if you study a man's life for 40 years or 100 centuries? What new things will you really find? What will you see? You'll still see love and treacherousness and envy and happiness and grief and life and death. It's the same story on repeat. Cycles of life. So he's thinking about several things here. The amazing expanses of the cosmos, the endless time before and after our short lives, and seeing the world as a unified whole of which we are a minor part, but still a part that has a role to play. So I've read a little bit about this Buddhist practice, the Metta meditation, and I've modified it to kind of be more Stoic. And you can change the wording around how you like, but this is how I like to do it. This helps me to think about things kind of from the Marcus Aurelius perspective here. So you can sit down and breathe deeply and think about the time before your birth and after your death and how huge that expanse of time is. You can view yourself from above and zoom out and view the world, view the cosmos, view the infinite expanses of time and evolution leading up to now, and go fast forward all the way to the ends of the universe, right? You can do that during this practice. But another thing you can do is to try to cultivate justice for those people you're looking down on from above. So what I like to do is call to mind someone whom I love very much, like my mom or my grandma, someone who's still alive, maybe your wife or child, and then say a few things. Now, these are not invocations to a deity. I mean, they could be, but they're more of to change your perspective, okay? You would think about them and say, may you find justice. And what I mean by that is, may you practice justice. So you could word it any way you want. But I say, may you find, or may you know justice. That's one way I like to word it. May you know justice. May you know wisdom. May you know happiness. And may you have a smooth flow of life. So we wish them two of the big principles of Stoicism, right? Two of the big virtues. May you know justice. So may you practice justice. And hopefully may others practice it to you, but that's an external to them, right? But may you know justice. May you know wisdom. May you know happiness. And may you have a smooth flow of life. So once again, we're not pretending that what we're saying is going to cause that for them, but it brings them to mind, lets us remember how much we care about them and what we hope for them. Meanwhile, then, you can move on. You can zoom out further, and you can go to a neighbor, someone you don't know very well, but who you don't have any bad feelings for, and do the same thing. May you know justice. May you know wisdom. May you know happiness. May you have a smooth flow of life. Then you can zoom out from there further and go to someone who cut you off in traffic today, someone who's making you mad, a politician that just ticks you off, and wish the same thing to them. Then zoom out further to the expanse of the entire biosphere. And you can think of the same idea. The circles, remember, we're thinking of like the circles of influence here, or our circles of compassion, from ourself to our family, to our neighbor, to our community, and outward. So you can do this for a number of people as a way to formalize this feeling of justice and compassion for other members of the human race, as well as for the Earth itself, the cosmos itself. Not that the cosmos itself experiences wisdom or justice. You could reword that, I suppose, as you wish. But just to keep things consistent, I wish all living beings within the cosmos, a good flow of life, a smooth flow of life, which is an idea taken from Chrysippus. The goal of Stoicism is a smooth flow of life. So just a thought from the Sunday Stoic, you might give that a try. Think about the expanses of time, of which we are just of a small glimpse. We get to see a tiny glimpse of that. Think of all the people and all the things going on earth and how we are just of a small part of a small moment of that earth. But we're still an important part. We can show justice to those around us. And then think about wishing goodwill to those you love, those whom you don't know well, and those who you should try harder to get along with, realizing that they don't do evil because they are evil. They do evil because they are ignorant. So we can hope that they will find wisdom and justice and change their ways. And it will hopefully make us a little more tolerant when something comes up that's a little outside of what we hoped would happen. Just a thought. Word it however you wish, however works well for you, but that's what I've come up with as a daily practice. I sometimes do this as I'm laying in bed, going to sleep, or if I have time in the day, I'll sit down and try this meditation, and I think it's helping. Other than that, you can sign up for tickets for Stoicon online. Now, you might check that out online. There's a lot of new Stoic books coming out there. I am not going to be buying all the new books that come out because I already own enough books on Stoicism, and unless they offer something very new and interesting. So I'm not going to be able to review all of those books that are coming out. But if you check any of the new books out and want to talk about them on the show, send me an audio clip with your book review and we'll put it on the show. Meanwhile, you can sign up on Patreon, www.patreon.com/SundayStoic to support the show. I'd like to thank all my patrons who make the show possible. Without you, I would have stopped a long time ago. And also happy birthday to my wife, who turned a nice round number yesterday. And we also had our anniversary recently, so it's been a big month. Happy anniversary, happy birthday, darling. And I will see you all soon on the next episode of the Sunday Stoic Podcast. Seize the day. Carpe diem.
Thank you for listening to the Sunday Stoic. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and review the Sunday Stoic on iTunes. Become a member of the Sunday Stoic team, earn rewards, and be an integral part of the show by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. Contact the show by emailing sundaystoic@gmail.com. To find out more, visit www.sundaystoicpodcast.com. And as Steve always says, carpe diem.